Can you hear me? Hello? I'm starting class now. I'm starting the class now. Think you can hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Madam.
Can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Okay, I'll start the class. Yesterday we have completed the first two topics about the introduction of CAM, of CAD, and product life cycle, which is product life cycle that is being executed manually as well as using computers. So today, as well as using computers. And today, um, today I'm discussing about basic computer architecture. Today the topic is about the basic computer architecture. Now coming to the side, what is about the basic computer architecture? So to tell you about the basic computer architecture, I have given you a chart here which contains computer components. Which contains computer components. In these computer components, what all we are having is input and output units, memory and storage units, and CPU. CPU is nothing but a central processing unit. Actually, I have shown you two diagrams here to show the computer architecture. First, before we go to the computer architecture, let us know what is there in the computer architecture. The four components are there in the computer architecture. What they are we have memory, central processing unit, input device, and an output device. So how they are connected or how they are linked to one another is shown in the diagram here. Is shown in the diagram here, right? The diagram here shows you clearly CPU in between and then main memory or the memory internal or main memory is shown down, And in the left part, we are being shown as input devices. In the right side, we are showing the output device. Here we have an arrow link from the input device to CPU, and then CPU to output device, and then a down link from down and upward link, from both uh, memory. Memory, we have a downward arrow as well as the upward arrow. In between the arrows, I have written data, word data. So the components here we are having in a computer, or to explain about the basic architecture, it needs the four components, that are input devices, output devices, the processing unit, and main memory, which are linked to one another by the transfer of data. From the main memory, we are having two-word arrow. It takes the data from this central processing unit, and it gives the data to the central processing unit. So let me tell you clearly about what are input devices and what are output devices. So there is a slide share which I can explain you about the input devices in later classes and output devices. But to let you know about the example of an input device, usually we take keyboard as an input device. And to let you know about the example of an output device, we take monitor as an output device, or a screen, or a printer as an output device. And now the main two units which I have to explain is about CPU and memory. So today's topics are, the first thing is about the CPU and then about the memory. So today I'm going to explain about the CPU architecture and the memory architecture. Okay, so now let us come to the second diagram which I am being showing in the slide. The second diagram shows you a CPU, and then here it shows an internet connection where it shows an memory interface as well as input interface. Input I/O, which is nothing but input/output interface. So from the CPU, it is internally connected to memory interface and input and output device. So there is a connection between the CPU, memory interface, and input and output interface two ways. This is the diagram where the CPU is connected. How we connect the CPU, and this thing, whoever knows how to connect the system will be knowing the connections how they can give from CPU to output input device and the memory device. So to explain, I have been explaining about the 3 points. Now let me explain about your CPU architecture. What is there in the CPU architecture? In the CPU architecture, we have input output interface, we have control unit, in between we have a program counter, and then ALU, and then memory. Here, input output interface, input devices and output devices comes to input output interface. And then ALU means it is an arithmetic logic unit. Arithmetic logic unit means the arithmetical logical operations are done in an arithmetic logical unit. So this is a memory which there is a lot of thing to know about memory, which I will explain you later. But as far as you know about the memory card set. So that is nothing but the memory, which is nothing but a place where we store the given data. We store the given data in the memory, and then we can retrieve the data from the memory. So now we coming to the control unit. We have program counter. This is a control unit where it controls all the arithmetic and logical units given to the CPU in the form of a programs. And then now coming to the next slide. So in a hardware structure, in a hardware architecture, we have ALU, arithmetic logical unit, control unit, instructions memory, data memory, and input and output devices. In a hardware structure, actually, in the second slide, I shown you about the CPU, how it is linked to one another. This is also a hardware structure which is linked internally in the computer, where we have arithmetic logical unit which is directly linked to the control unit, and from the control unit it is directly linked to the input and output devices, and then an instruction memory is linked to the control unit, and then it gives to the data memory. So these are the instructions memory is one type of memory which gives data and receives data, and data memory is another type of memory which gives data and receives data. But what is the difference between the instruction memory and data memory is instruction memory gives only instructions like plus, minus, divided by, multiplication. All those instructions will be given by the instruction memory, and alphabetical order data will be given by the data memory. So these two are the memories which are already linked to the control unit, and then arithmetic logical unit which calculates all the operations and then gives us directly in the input or in the output interface. Now coming to the CPU architecture which I have explained to you before in the third slide, and now about what are the CPU, and now let me explain about the CPU. What it usually contains. A CPU contains, as far as we see, a CPU contains three types. First, ALU means arithmetical logical unit, which performs calculations and comparisons, which is data change. Calculations and comparisons are performed in arithmetic and logical unit, which is one part in CPU. Next, we have control unit also in CPU. Control unit is used for fetch operation and execute operation. To fetch what is there in the system, and then to execute what is there in the system is used by a control unit, right? So the functions of a control unit is use data to and from CPU registers and other hardware components, no change in data, and then it access programs. It access programs, program instructions, and issues commands to the ALU. So what are the functions of control unit? The functions of control unit are it moves data to and from CPU register and other hardware components. Here the word register is not explained clearly, which I will explain. Next, access program instructions. It access program instructions and issues commands to ALU. ALU is nothing but an arithmetic logical unit. So these are the two main functions of a control unit. What are there in the control unit? We have two subparts in the control unit, that is a memory management unit as well as input output interface. I/O says that it is an input and output interface. So the subparts in a control unit are memory management unit. What is a memory management unit? What it does? A memory management unit supervises fetching information and data. What it does? What a memory management unit does in a control unit is it supervises fetching instructions and data. Means that the instructions that are given to the system are being taken by a memory management unit and then interpreted in the system. And then what an interface input output interface does? It combines with the memory management unit and bus and just interface unit. It combines what it does an input output interface combines, and it is linked with the memory management unit, so that when the input is given, the memory management unit fetches it. When the output is and fetches it and gives it a certain and frames it in a certain format and then gives us as an output. That is the thing what a control unit does. So in the control unit, we heard the term, the name is registers. So what is meant by register? Program counter. We have many registers. We have 4 types of registers in the control unit. The 4 types of registers used in the control unit are, the first one is program counter. The 4 types of registers used in the control unit are program counter, instruction register, accumulator, status register, arithmetic and logical unit. Okay. We have 4 types of registers, that is program counter, instruction register, accumulator, and status register. I will explain you about the registers in the next slide. So now coming to the concept of registers. What is meant by a register? a small permanent storage locations within the eCPU, within CPU used for a particular purpose. We have a small permanent storage locations within the CPU used for a particular purpose. Actually, these registers are placed in the form of a racks in the CPU. They are placed in the form of a racks, like we have the trays in a oven. As we can see the trays in a oven, the registers also are placed in the CPU in the form of a racks. So which has its own storage. I have told you about we have 4 registers. Each one has its own storage location, manipulated directly by control unit, and these are registers are manipulated by control unit and wired for specific functions. And then this is a size in the form of the size is called in the form of a bit or bytes, not MB like memory, can hold data and address of an instruction. So what the registers do? The register holds data, it addresses the data, and it gives the instructions. So what are the types of registers that are that are stored in the CPU, that are stored in the form of the racks in CPU? There are certain types of registers. The registers are there are certain types of registers which comes in the next slide. Now the registers operation, there are certain types of registers. The registers are program counter register, instruction register, status register. These are the 3 types of registers. And we have accumulator also in between, which accumulates everything. So here I have explained you about the program counter register, which is called as a, so as I shown you in the diagram, it is a central processing unit where we have arithmetic logical unit. We have the accumulator, which is also one of the register. And this in the control unit, we have program counter and instruction register. So these two are placed in the first two are placed in the control unit. So which is linked to the input unit as well as output unit. And then these are linked to the central memory, ROM and RAM. What is this? This is a status register. Status register is nothing but the which shows is used to indicate the interconditions of the CPU. There is one more register called as a status register, which is also located in the CPU, which is not mentioned here. But we have one more status register, which is used to indicate the internal condition of the CPU. CPU యొక్క ఇంటర్నల్ కండిషన్ చెప్పేది మాత్రమే స్టేటస్ రిజిస్టర్. ఇది కూడా one of the register which is stored in the CPU. So now coming to the diagram, let me show you the diagram where we have in the control unit we have a program counter which is one of the register, instruction register which is one of the register, and in arithmetic logical unit we have accumulator. Now let me explain what is a program counter. What is a program counter? Which points to the next instruction to be executed. What a program counter does is it shows the next instruction. When we give a letter A, it takes the letter A and asks for the next instruction. When we want to show the computer the relation between, if we take 2 units A and B, when we want to show the computer the relation between A and B, the program counter what it shows is it points the instructions. Means what it asks us about the instruction about the relation between A and B. So when we want to add, we need to give an instruction, right? Saying that A is one letter and B is one more letter, and then in between we are using plus as an instruction to add A plus B. That was what is executed in the program counter. If you take an example of 2 different letters A and B, then we go to the instruction register. What an instruction register does, which holds the instruction currently being executed. So when we execute the instruction, the program counter asks for the instruction to be executed. So the executed instruction is registered in the instruction register. So A plus B is registered in the instruction register. Now I think you can understand what is the difference between the program counter and instruction register. Program counter asks for, if we give 2 letters A and B, program counter asks for the instruction, means what is the relation between A and B, what you are going to do with the 2 letters A and B. So when we say it A plus B, we are going to add and give the instruction that A is added to B, give the mark as plus, Then instruction register stores the instruction saying that A plus B, right? Then the status register shows the status saying that A plus B completely is equal to what is the answer. What the accumulator do? Accumulator is a temporary storage register used during arithmetical and logical operations. So in the accumulator, what we use, what the accumulator register do is, it takes, if you give the letter A, it takes the letter A. If you use the letter B, it takes the letter B. And then it asks what is the logical operation between them. Then if you give letter plus, then it takes plus. So that was what the accumulator is going to do. So in the registers of the CPU, we have altogether how many registers? 4 registers. 4 registers, 1 register accumulator is in the arithmetical logical unit. And the other 2 registers control unit are in the control unit. And the last register is the status register, which shows the status of the symbols what we have given. And these are completely linked to the central memory, where there are in the central memory, I am showing you 2 types of memories, what is ROM and RAM. ROM is nothing but the read only memory, and ROM is the random access memory. RAM and ROM, which are nothing but the memories which are used in a central memory for the storage purpose. One is for read and another one is for read and write and storage. And these are directly linked to the output unit, and these comes from the input unit. So when there is an arithmetical and logical operation, or when there is a program, or when there is anything to be executed from the input device, it goes to the CPU, where the registers calculate everything and then shows in the status, and then sends it to the memory. From the memory, we will execute it out to the output unit. This is the complete architecture what is happening in the CPU. So now coming to the next slide, what is happening in the CPU? Now you understand what is happening in the CPU. Now coming to the next slide. Next slide is registers operations. So what are the registers do? It stores values from other locations, registers in memory. It adds and it subtracts, or it shifts or rotates the data. It tests contents for conditions such as 0 or false. Right? So these are all the registers operations which is done in the registers that are there in CPU. Now I think you understand what is exactly the CPU is, what exactly the CPU does. Right? Now coming to the next slide, what exactly the CPU does. Coming to the next slide, we are having another one is coming to the next slide. Next slide, it shows about the memory. It shows about the memory. To know about the memory, we need to know about certain things in the memory. So let me explain you what is about the memory. Memory is a part of the computer wherein programs and data are stored. So maximum we use the memory for storage. So each memory location is unique address. Address is nothing but that is there in the, I will let you know what is meant by an address, what is meant by a bit, what is meant by a cell, everything. I will let you know the definitions, each definitions clearly. Alright. So now let me read what is there in the operation of memory, how the memory is operated. The memory is, each memory location has a unique address. Address from the instruction is copied to the memory. Memory, MAR means memory address register, which finds the location in the memory. So in the memory we have MAR, which is nothing but an address register, means which finds the location when we ask for for anything to be executed, first it goes to the address memory and it finds the location. Like when we are using a system, we go into the documents. First we go where it is located, means we just store it where it is located. Now, when I ask you, can you find this file for me? You go to the documents, department, or different status where the entire thing which is shown in the toolbar, where it is located is called as an address, which is nothing but stored in a memory address register, which finds the location in the memory. CPU determines, the second point, CPU determines if it is a store or a retrieval. Means when we find the address in the memory, what the CPU tells us, whether it is a storage or in a retrieval process. Means what? It is already, if it is already stored in the memory, CPU gives you the data what is stored. If it is retrieved from the memory, CPU says that it is retrieved. Then transfer takes place between the MDR, memory data register, and memory. Usually address is shown in the memory address register, and the transfer from one place to another is shown in the memory data register. So memory data MDR is a two-way register. So we have two types of registers in the memory. What is that? MAR and MDR. MAR is nothing but the memory address register. MDR is nothing but the memory data register. MAR is a one-way register, whereas MDR is a two-way register. Which why? Because MDR takes transfers from one place to another. So MDR is a two-way register. So now coming to the capacity of a memory. Memory actually is determined by two factors. Number of bits in a MAR. MAR means what we say? Memory address register. Memory address register. What is meant by a bit here? You need to know what is meant by a bit. A bit is nothing but a unit of a memory is the binary digit. The unit of memory is a binary digit. Bit is a unit of memory which is a binary digit. Usually it is called as a bit. A bit may contain 0 and 1. A bit may contain 0 and 1. Usually it is in a binary digit number, so it contains 0 and 1. It is a simple possible unit which is in the memory. If you to calculate the number of bits, we can take k is equal to width of the register in a bit. To calculate the number of bits, we take 2 to the power of k. If k is the width of the register in the bit, so if 2 to the power of k, shows the number of bits. If we take if k is the width of the register k is equal to 4, then we take 2 to the power of 4. So this is the address storage in the memory. So to identify, like length L is equal to L, width W is equal to width. To identify the storage in the memory, we take in the form of a 2 to the power of k. So the length we specify it in the form of L. To identify that in the memory, we specify it using bits. Usually the bits are in the form of a binary, 0 to 1 number. So 0 and 1 bits are in the form of 0 to 1 number. 0 and 1 is usually taken by the computer. So the second one, size of the address portion of the instruction is 4 bits allows 16 locations. Then 8 bit allows 256 locations. 32 bits allows 4, 294, 967, 296 or 4 GB locations. This is the way the locations are placed in the memory. So important for performance, insufficient memory can cause a processor to work at 50% below performance. If we have insufficient memory, the performance of the system will be very low. So to know about the memories consist of number of cells. CELLS, ఆ cells ని కూడా మనం define చేస్తాం. Cells అంటే ఏంటంటే they are nothing but the locations which are placed in the memory. So memory consists of number of cells which are placed in the memory. So the cells are the place where the information is stored. Bit is nothing but the its storage capacity. Bit is nothing but the storage capacity or the unit that is mentioned in the memory. Bit is a unit that is mentioned in the memory, but memory consists of number of cells where the information is stored. So the information is stored in the cells. So each cell has a number called it as address. Every cell has a number where it is defined as an address by which the program can refer to it. If a memory has n cells, then it will distinguish, then we will have an address from 0 to n minus 1. If the memory have n cells, then the address is shown as 0 to n minus 1. A cell is a memory. A cells in the memory contain the same number of bits. If the cells contains k bits, it can hold one of 2 to the power of k different bit combinations. So here the k is the number of bits. K is number of bits that is shown in the memory. Next, coming to the Next slide. Next slide. This is individual memory cell. So the individual memory cell is, this is first read switch, which is nothing but an R. This is one memory cell. Cell is nothing but the, what we know, cell is nothing but the memory consists of number of cells. Cell is nothing but a location. Location where the memory is stored, where the address is stored. Right. This memory cell, one memory cell, so which is nothing but it is given to a write switch. This is a read switch. This is a read switch, which is nothing but R. So when we this is a one memory cell, and this is given to a write switch, nothing but a double J. Now now coming now, let me explain it to you. Address line is 1. Active line is 1. So read write line is equal to 1. So read. So this arrows coming to the end operation. So end operation, first what happens is it reads the end operation. It reads the end operation. Now coming to the second stone, address line 1, active line 1, it read write line 0. So this is from 1 to 0. This write operation takes as, write operation is taken as 0. This 1 and 0 are the binary digits, which are nothing but the bits. So data written when write switch is on. When write switch is on చేసినప్పుడు write switch when end operation. Now end operation to the end operation, when the write switch, when we on the write switch, it writes the data. It writes the data. When the write switch is on, write switch on చేసినప్పుడు write అంటే WRITE, write. When the write switch is on, it goes into the cell. Means when we press the button, like end operation, when we press the button, it goes into the one memory cell, it stores into the one memory cell, and then it displays outside. So which is nothing but in the read operation. When it displays in the, so when we press here A, it goes into the one memory cell, it stores there, and then it displays in the read operation, and then it comes back to the MDR, means memory data register line. So it shows here in the MDR. So data read when read switch is on. Now you understand. Here we press the button A. When this A button is stored in the memory cell, one memory cell, then it goes to the read button, which is shown in the on the display, and then all these goes to the MDR line, means memory data register. So this is one way individual memory cell, how a memory cell is operated. I think you understood how the memory cell is operated. So oh, this is MAR, the first memory address register, and MDR. MDR and it means memory data register example. So memory address register as well as memory data register, both registers how they get operated. So this is memory address register, where in the memory address register, this is all the MSB, each one cells, each one. So here that operation 1, here the operation which is taken in the form of a binary digits. So this is stored in one cell, this is one cell, this is one cell, this is one cell, and all these are the cells, which are stored. All these are stored and shown in the address recorder. When we use it, so if we use this, if we need the information from this, from 1, it shows in a 0. If we need the information from 1 in this register, it shows out. So this is the way it shows out, and then finally in the memory data register, it is stored in this way, and then it comes to an active line. So all these are stored in the form of binary digits. This is nothing but the address register and data register example. Both memory address register and data registers are shown here. Right here, MAR, MDR memory. MAR means, and again MAR, memory address register, which is worked two ways: memory data register and memory. The same way, see it shows the data in the form of bytes here. These are the individual memory cells. These are the address lines which are shown. These are the cells that are stored, and this is a memory address register. This is address decoder. So everything is stored in the memory data register. This is a two-way format, which the bit is transferred from n to 2 to the power of n minus 1. So this is a two-way format. So this is called as a MAR, memory address register, memory data register memory. In the before one, memory address register and memory data register example. This is an example which shows the basic computer architecture. How the storage is done in the memory. And coming to this is an example how the storage is done in MAR and MDR memory. Here, you no need to confuse anything here. It is nothing but the address is stored, data is stored. How the address is stored, how the data is stored is shown in this example clearly. So the data is stored in the form of a bits. Address is stored in separate memory disk. This address is from 0 to n. So when the bit is moved from n to the power of n minus 1. So this is the address line which shows. These are all the cells that are shown where we give the digit A, it is taken as 0. If B, it is taken as 1. Depends on the system. It takes the each digit given in the form of a data. It transfers in the form of a data. First we did registers and in the address register, and then it decodes the address in the form of a bits, in the form of a number of bits, in the form of a binary digits. So it takes the data when we give it to the from the input and decodes it and stores it in a cells and decodes it to the address decoder, and then it takes in the form of in the address it takes in the form of 0 to 1 in binary digit, and then it stores in the form of a bytes bit. So each one is taken as 1 bit. This each one bit, this complete format is known as bit. The data is stored in the form of a byte. So bit is the bit plural form is taken as byte, and each one this rectangular block is called as an individual cell. So this is nothing but a memory data register. So any doubts? Anyone having any doubts? You can ask me. Thank you. And this presentation also, like yesterday's presentation, I will put you in the group so that see each thing and then learn. If any doubts, you can come back to me. You can call to my number. Gentlemen participants, yes, participants. How many of you are present? We have 13 participants present. 13 number of participants. I need some more strength. And principal sir is asking me for a video. So I need some more strength. Anyone? Are having any doubts? హలో
మేడం
చెప్పమ్మా, ఏమన్నా డౌట్ ఉందా?
ఏం లేదు మేడం.